Paul, thanks for your time. Wondering what you could share on the status of things with the Swansea City talks and how you're balancing your thoughts on that with an international match coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, hey Steve. The reality is I don't have too much to share. Obviously there's only a few days left in the transfer window, and right now, the only thing that I can really do is stay focused on the game. We've worked extremely hard as a group for the past 3 weeks, and tomorrow is the final day, and I'm just focused on that, going out there, having the best game that I can, and help the team hopefully get a victory.
Next will be Emily Olsen from SiriusXM.
Hey Paul, thanks for taking the time. I know you said you want to focus on the game, but I do, just to follow up on that, how much, when these opportunities or these changes in off-season come about, how much do you, and you're in camp, how much do you leave that to your agent, to the team, and how much do you kind of keep an ear on it?
Yeah, hi Emily, first, sorry. The whole thing obviously is I'm a player first and foremost, and I'm here with the national team, and wherever I am, my main goal is in the moment, in the present, and that's kind of the way that I'm trying to keep my mentality. There's obviously been a lot of talk about me potentially going over to Europe on loan, and right now I can't really do much, and a lot of it is out of my control. All I can focus on is playing on the field. Leave it up to my agent, leave it up to the clubs to try and figure that out. But really, I'm just trying to stay focused on what I can control, and what I can control is how I sleep tonight, how I respond to questions, and focusing on the game tomorrow.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Paul. It's been over 3 years since Cuba. You played Trinidad since then, Paul. You scored in that game in the Gold Cup in 2019. But I'm curious, is it still, when you face Trinidad, is there still something a little extra heading into that game? Thank you.
Yeah, hey Doug. I always think there's going to be a little bit extra, especially for those guys that were on the field. That's a very difficult day for a lot of us, and I think we have to, I think it'll always be in the back of our minds, but without holding us back, giving us a little extra motivation to go out there and just to remind ourselves who we are and how much better we are now than we were before. And tomorrow I think is going to be a great day for us. Like I said, it's been 3 weeks of hard training camp, and we're excited to go out there regardless of the opponent and get after them.
Go to Jeff Carlisle from ESPN FC.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Paul. I understand that you're a little bit removed from your comeback from the ACL, but I am curious, how is your body and the knee held up over the course of these last few weeks? Do you ever feel it? And then, just as a follow-up, in what way has Greg maybe tweaked your role heading into this match? Is there anything tactically that he wants you to kind of focus on?
Yeah, hey Jeff. No, my body feels great. To be honest, this has been the longest time that I've had, complete training continuously. So this has been another step forward in my progress. I'm still not 1 year past my ACL surgery, and so that's obviously important. But I feel good. Obviously, I've tried to stay as fit as possible and as strong as possible. To continue and to be able to be a part of this camp and stay through it, which has been good. And no, for me, Greg really hasn't tweaked too much for us. You know, the wingers, the players who play on the wing, we're very clear on what our role is, and what we need to do to help the team win offensively and defensively. And now it's just, you know, about the execution part, about all of us going out there and performing, you know, and doing what we need to do in order to win.
Next will be Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey, Paul, not to harp too much on the transfer stuff, but you're obviously not the only guy who's kind of been at this. You know, Aaron's been going through it, you know, Brian and Jordan Morris earlier in camp. And when you're at camp, you're spending a lot of time with these guys, whether it be at training, after training, and meals. You know, how much do you guys sort of talk about it? You know, is this a topic that comes up, and how do you guys kind of, you know, help each other out when all this stuff's going on around you?
Yeah, hey Ryan. You know, we don't talk about it too much. Obviously, you know, table conversation and you know, while we're walking to training or on the bus or something like that. But you know, really when we're here, we try and just get after it. We talk a lot about anything. You know, you have to imagine we're here together for 3 weeks, and so, you know, all conversations kind of pass through the table and you know, when we're passing each other walking to training, like I said. But you know, obviously we support each other, and we're happy for everyone. And you know, we have to understand that you know, everyone is in a different situation, and you know, we're just here to help each other manage it the best, you know, to our ability.
I'm really looking forward to these game previews. Next will be Ivis Galarcep.
Paul, I wanted to ask you, how is that process? I know you've been back. You played in December, but I wanted to ask, how did the process of getting back and the recovery? How do you feel like you're a different player, if at all, now? Because sometimes players, when they go through that process, they, you know, whether it's you get stronger, like you look like you put on some muscle. You also spend so much time watching games that maybe you have a new appreciation. How do you feel like that process has changed you as a player? And a follow-up on the team style, you mentioned that the wingers don't have much of a different role, but a couple of guys have talked about there being some adjustments, maybe more pressing in the way you guys approach games. Do you feel like there are some changes as far as that goes?
Yeah, hey Ives. Yeah, my progress obviously has been great, and I'm still focusing on progressing. You know, it's clear that it's tough to come back from a huge injury like this, and be, you know, performing at the highest level so quickly. And so for me, I'm constantly looking at different ways to maintain myself, to continue to better myself. And yeah, you know, I did work a lot in the gym, obviously strengthening my lower body most importantly. And I think just the understanding of the game is a lot better. You know, talking just about DC United and watching on the sideline and seeing what I thought our team lacked and what I think I can help my team, you know, do in the future season. You know, that's also extremely important. And yeah, like I said, it's just obviously having the mentality of, you know, you're back to normal, and you have to really go after everything, attack it 100%. You know, whether it be in a game, in training. You know, that I think that's the most important thing for me. To answer your second question, you know, when I said there wasn't much change to our wingers, I think I'm speaking more on behalf of the last December camp. You know, when we played El Salvador, you know, we have very clear cues on how to press, when to press, and know why we press. And I think you know, we'll come out and play a similar style that we did previous. And you know, that's the most important thing. We're all on the same page, regardless of what the system is. We're all on the same page, and we're willing to execute and work for one another. And anytime you get a team to do that, you know, I think you'll have a high chance of success. So yeah, I think you know, collectively we're gonna have a good showing tomorrow.
Next will be Paul Tenorio.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Paul. You you've worked so hard to get back to national team camp in December and now here in January. After tomorrow's game, there's a possibility of a lockout, which means that you potentially wouldn't be able to train or play to prepare for that friendly window in March, and who knows beyond that with the Nations League in June. If there isn't a short-term loan, have you started to think about what you can do to try to stay in the picture with the national team? Have there been discussions with Greg about ways to stay fit and stay prepared for what is a really important year for the national team ahead?
Yeah. Hey, Paul. No, honestly, I haven't thought about past tomorrow. It's a hard thing to stay in the moment, especially with all the chaos that's going on. Talk about potential transfers or what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks within the league. My main focus is just on tomorrow, and once we get through tomorrow, I think we'll be able to figure it out and face the adversity that might come from either or.
Our last question for Paul comes from Emily Olson.
Hey Paul, you're kind of coming up on that year since your injury. I was just curious, the first time you got back with DC United, the goal last December, this game, do you think about those milestones in this recovery process and all the things you've accomplished within, coming up to that 1 year mark since your injury?
Yeah, I do think about my accomplishments. I think the one thing is, coming off a big injury, you learn to celebrate the small goals and the small achievements that come along the journey. And like you had mentioned, my first game back, scoring in the last game, all those things are amazing, and I'm so thankful and grateful for. And I often look at the timeline that everything has happened in, and sometimes when I get down on myself and I'm looking for some extra motivation to push myself to go even harder and get better. Sometimes I just take a deep breath and realize that I'm not even past the year yet. So that's definitely something that kind of grounds me and makes me realize how thankful I am. To the people, to the staff that have helped me get to where I am, and also myself for all the hard work that I've done to be where I am today.